Hello and welcome. I am Exit Light and this is my channel. And I'm going to tell you about a woman who went missing. Her name was Paula Jean Weldon, and she is considered somewhat of an enigma. Let's talk about why. Paula Jean was the oldest of four daughters of the well-known industrial engineer, architect, and designer William Archibald Weldon and his wife, Jean Douglas. They lived in Stamford, Connecticut. William was employed at the Revere Copper and Brass Company. Jean's father was the designer of many familiar household utensils that we still use today, as well as stylish cocktail shakers and other objects. Jean was a 1945 graduate of Stamford High School. In 1946, Jean was a sophomore at Bennington College in North Bennington, Vermont. Her dormitory was the Dewey House, one of the older dormitories on the college grounds, and to this very day it still stands. One day, Jean decided that she was going to walk along the portion of Long Trail, which was a hiking route located a few miles from the campus. She tried to get some other students to join her that day, but everyone was busy, so she went by herself. And what she did was she hitchhiked. On that fateful day in December, Paula's life took a sudden and mysterious turn. She decided, after she couldn't get any friends to go, that she was going to go solo hike on the Long Trail. Now, this was a path that she had been on numerous amounts of times, and this would lead to her disappearance and her lasting enigma, one that continues to intrigue and captivate people to this day. On December 1st, the air was crisp and beautiful in Vermont. It was tinged with the scent of pine trees and the anticipation of coming winter snowfall. Paula Jean woke up that morning with the idea that would change the course of her life. She had her heart set on an adventure that day, something she had done many times before, hiking along the Long Trail. The Long Trail was a renowned path that traverses the spine of Vermont's Green Mountains, and it was a place of solace and serenity for Paula. It was a place where she could escape the pressures of her life and lose herself into the beauty of the wilderness. When she prepared for her hike, she selected her hiking gear carefully. She packed a small bag with some essentials such as food and water, and of course, her sketchbook. What was notable, however, was that she did not prepare for a long journey. In fact, she didn't even wear warm clothing that day. She wasn't intending to be gone very long. Paula Jean walked down the campus driveway and she hitched a ride from State Route 67A near the college entrance to a point on State Route 9 near the Furnace Bridge between downtown Bennington and Woodford Hollow. A local contractor, Lewis Knapp, picked up Weldon and drove her as far as his house on Route 9, which was about 2.5 miles from the Long Trail. From this point, Jean either hitchhiked or walked the rest of the way to the start of the trail. There was a group of hitchhikers that were walking down the trail as Paula Jean was walking up. She approached them and she asked them a few questions about the Long Trail. Paula Jean continued walking in a northerly direction on the road portion of the trail, now known as Harbor Road. She was on the trail late in the afternoon, and darkness was falling as she approached the end of Harbor Road. She may have continued into quickly darkening woods. It was presumed that she must have continued her walk along the Balls Brook Valley, although there are actually no known confirmed sightings of her past the Faye Fuller camp. Paula Jean did not return to campus. Her roommate thought she must have gone to the library to study for exams, but when the next morning came and Paula Jean was still not there, once the college administrator was notified, they immediately started a search of the campus. The Bennington County State's Attorney was notified, and the county sheriff was brought in to help with the search. Over the next couple of days, Paula Jean's visits to the long trail was discovered when one of the hikers she had approached identified her from the photo in the Bennington Banner newspaper where he happened to work. Weeks of searching continued. Bennington College closed for several days, and the students and faculty participated in organized searches. Hundreds of volunteers, family members, National Guard troops, and firefighters searched for Paula Jean. They never found her. Ground and air searches concentrated on the long trail up as far as Glassbury Mountain, which was 10 miles to the north. The trail's various branches and along Route 9 from Bennington to Brattleboro, most of those searching assumed Paula Jean had gotten into the woods, probably lost. When no clues were found as to her whereabouts, other theories started being considered. Some of the theories being floated around were foul play. The theory suggests that Paula may have encountered a malevolent individual or perhaps a group of individuals during her hike. Some believe that a chance encounter with an unknown assailant or even an opportunistic criminal might have led to her disappearance. However, the absence of any signs of struggle or violence along the trail has left this theory inconclusive. What about an accidental fall? Given the rugged and sometimes treacherous terrain of the long trail, some think that maybe Paula might have met with an unfortunate accident. It's possible that she stumbled, fell, or became disoriented, leading to a tragic end. Yet, those extensive searches failed to find any body. What about an animal attack? Vermont's wilderness is home to a variety of wildlife, including bears, mountain lions, and other potentially dangerous creatures. The theory of an animal attack says that Paula might have encountered a wild animal during her hike, leading to her disappearance. However, there were no signs of struggle or animal predation, and her body was never found. What about voluntary disappearance? Perhaps one of the most intriguing and controversial theories suggests that Paula chose to disappear voluntarily. Some believe that personal troubles, romantic entanglements, or a desire for a new life led her to vanish from her old existence. This theory has sparked numerous speculations about Paula's potential motives for starting anew. But, if you remember correctly, Paula had asked people to go with her. Someone doesn't ask people to go with them if they're planning on disappearing. Then there were the supernatural or paranormal explanations. In the absence of concrete answers, some have turned to supernatural or paranormal explanations. Stories of ghostly encounters, strange phenomena, and unexplained mysteries in the Vermont wilderness have fueled speculation about the possibility of otherworldly forces at play. However, these theories remain largely speculative. Conspiracy theories. Paula's disappearance has also given rise to a conspiracy theory that suggests that she may have been involved in a secret government experiment or espionage due to the proximity of the nearby military installations during World War II. While these theories are captivating, they lack credible evidence to support them. At the time of Paula Jean's disappearance, there was no state police organization in Vermont, and the state's attorney, county sheriff, and state investigator, Almo Franzoni, were responsible for finding clues. Paula Jean's father pressed the investigators and Governor Mortimer R. Proctor to bring in additional professional law enforcement help. Proctor asked the Governor Raymond E. Baldwin of Connecticut to lend assistance. The Connecticut police detective Robert Rundle and the state policewoman Dorothy Scoville were assigned to the case. They interviewed every single person who saw or thought they saw Paula Jean, and every person who lived along the route she took, or who were simply in the vicinity of the long trail on that afternoon. Investigators discovered that one of the last people to see Weldon alive was lumberjack named Fred Gaudette. He lived along Harbor Road. Gaudette was in the middle of an argument with his girlfriend when Paula Jean walked by. He said that he stormed off in a jealous rage shortly thereafter, and depending on different statements that he's made, he either went to his shack and spent the evening by himself, or he drove up the travel portion of the trail where Paula Jean was heading. But he lied to the police on several occasions and was a person of interest, both in 1946 and when the case was revisited in 1952. Reportedly, Gaudette told at least 2 people that he knew within 100 feet where Paula Jean was buried, but then he later claimed it was just idle talk. When no evidence was found that a crime had been committed, no body was found, and no forensic clues were identified, this avenue of investigation had to be ended. The manner in which Paula Jean's disappearance was handled by local law enforcement was sharply criticized by her father and many others. Paula Jean's father pointed out that the lack of statewide law enforcement organization and the lack of training of local sheriffs contributed to a poorly run investigation, and within 7 months of Paula Jean's disappearance, the Vermont legislature created the Vermont State Police. Think about that. If it hadn't been for her going missing, there wouldn't have been a Vermont State Police Department. Now, there were some other cases in the area. The general area where Paula Jean disappeared. At least 4 other unexplained vanishings were reported to have taken place between 1945 and 1950. Due to the strangeness of these events, Vermont broadcaster and author Joseph A. Citro dubbed the wilderness area of Bennington the Bennington Triangle. And if you look through my videos, I have done stories on the Bennington Triangle, which is a reference to the Bermuda Triangle. Other female hitchhikers disappeared under similar circumstances within the New England region during the same time period, and there has been speculation that all 3 might have been victims of the same unidentified serial killer. Catherine Hull was 22 years old. She vanished from Lebanon Springs, New York on April 2nd, 1936. She had last been seen hitchhiking. Hull's remains were found by a hunting party more than 7 years later, on December 8th, 1943, near the state border on the western slope of West Mountain in Hancock, Massachusetts. Constance Christine Smith, otherwise known as Connie, was a 10-year-old girl, and she ran away from Camp Sloan in Lakeville, Connecticut on July 16, 1952. She was last seen hitchhiking along Route 44. Her disappearance has never been solved. Lebanon Springs, New York is located 40 miles south of Bennington, Vermont, and 46 miles north of Lakeville, Connecticut. Since Connie disappeared, one author speculated that because she looked older than 10, she might have become a victim of the serial killer with a preference for young women in their late teens. such as Paula Jean, or their early 20s, such as Hull. Paula Jean Weldon's disappearance continues to perplex, intrigue, and haunt those who encounter her story. Her vanishing remains one of the most enduring and captivating mysteries of the 20th century. While time may have dimmed some of the details, the memory of Paula Jean and the relentless quest to uncover the truth about her disappearance endures as a statement to the allure of unsolved mysteries in our collective consciousness. Until concrete evidence surfaces, Paula Jean's case will continue to defy explanation, reminding us that some mysteries may never yield their secrets to the passage of time. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not. Please leave comments. All of those things help my channel to grow. Good night.